Welcome to PHP Podcast. I'm Mike.
And this is Orlando, and we're here for another Monday mini-sode.
Yeah, Monday minis are where we get to focus in on one topic. So instead of spending, an hour and 15 minutes plus like we do on our typical episodes, we're only spending 10, 15 minutes on one specific topic. So if you're looking for the good, you're looking for just like the nuggets, we're giving them to you now. I don't know if that sounded great. Giving you the nuggets, but we're giving you
gold
the gold
nuggets.
That's right. We're giving you the gold today as we talk about how do you learn a new niche. So
I think it's niche.
It's niche, man.
It's niche. Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, people have already told us it's niche.
Have they?
Yeah, I think it goes either way. Whatever. It just depends on.
Is it one of those like tomato, America? It's niche.
It's caramel, caramel. Whatever.
Do you say caramel or caramel?
Caramel.
I'm a caramel.
Yeah,
caramel. I say caramel though.
Caramel. I feel like too fancy, but anyways, we'll go fancy and say niche.
All right,
so we're learning on how to find a new niche. So what do you got first for us?
So this is the easiest one, but this takes a lot of time. And so, because we get this question all the time. Actually, this came up on our Discord. Some people are asking like, how do I find a new niche? How do I figure out, what other avenue to branch out to? What's profitable? And there's a lot of ways to go about it, right? But the easiest one that most of us, as long as you have internet, have access to is YouTube, social media such as Facebook groups, Instagram, maybe joining the Discord. But, there's all kinds, and it doesn't have to be necessarily a reselling channel or a reselling Facebook group.
That's right.
So if, let's say, for example, you wanted to learn about Hot Wheels, I'm sure there's plenty of Hot Wheel groups out there, and there's Hot Wheel YouTube channels, and there's even TikTok. There's somebody actually I follow on TikTok that discusses when the new car drops are, what to look for in cars. And so I've learned a lot. And so it takes a lot of time. That's one way to do it. But I will say it's usually after you find something that you begin to go down that road.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'd honestly say you're probably right that a lot of times not being in a reselling group is one of the best ways to go for social media. Because a lot of times you're just going to learn what the people in the hobby are looking for. I've gotten into a new niche, and that's one of the things I got into it because I was looking at the hobby myself. And then as I'm seeing the people on YouTube and on Instagram talking about a specific product or a specific one, all of a sudden the prices on those start to go up on Amazon and they start to get more and more scarce. And so I realized, okay, like these are the people influencing the market. So if you are in that hobby, if you're following the people who aren't talking about reselling it, but you're seeing the people who are the customers wanting to buy this stuff, you're going to know what you should be picking up, or just learning about, maybe if it's a vintage hobby, you're going to learn about people who are actually experts that aren't looking to sell the stuff, but they have a lot of information to give. Our next one is just go to a thrift store. Go to a thrift store and be naive. One of my favorite things to do, I just did this recently, is I didn't have a lot of time to kill, only like 20 minutes. And I was like, there's a thrift store here. And I did my quick walk around and I didn't find anything in like my normal go-to places. Mm-hmm. So I went to a part of the store I normally don't go to. And I don't know anything about this stuff, but I'm like, I'm going to just look up everything that I see on this shelf that looks like it's a little bit higher quality than the other ones. Right? There's hundreds of items on this shelf and it is in the glassware section. And I'm like, some of these look like they're higher quality than the others. So I'm just going to pick them up, look at the brand, and I'm going to search it. And after doing that for like 15 minutes, I found like $100 worth of profit. Nice. Just by being naive and saying, I'm going to spend a little bit of time and I'm going to look up everything, because you're going to quickly discover like, this brand isn't worth anything. Then the next 10 times you see that brand, you don't even have to look it up.
You become an expert. You know, you don't, and this is one way to do it without going to YouTube or Facebook. Is it face group?
Yeah, you could have a face group. Why not?
Facebook and so on. Because after, let's say you've made 100 trips to a thrift, right? And over those 100 trips, you've encountered the same kind of, let's say, a pair of shoes, right? And you want to get into a certain kind of shoes. You have that skill and ability. It's kind of all the sneakerheads, right? They know their niche, right? And that's because they're always around shoes, whether it be they're getting the drops, whether they go to sneaker conventions, whether they're in a Facebook group. But if you're going to the thrift a lot, you can also become a sneakerhead, because after a while, after researching, you're able to quickly identify what a colorway is, what design, how to spot the fakes. And so over time, you become an expert in that niche. It does take a little bit longer. I think all of these take longer. So I started from the easiest one, but I would say the easiest one takes the longest, right, to find information. And so the next one was researching on eBay. And again, we're looking at learning a new niche, not to just learn about it, but to make money on it. And one of the ways you do that is by using Terapeak on eBay. So on eBay, you can type in certain keywords, and it'll pop up about what the average price. And then you can even fine tune that more and put more keywords, right? So if you're looking, for example, a certain kind of a shirt, so you can put the brand and then you put the specific style or the specific colorway or whatever it is. And then once you do that, then you begin to find out there's charts that'll give you when these sell best, what is the best price point, what is the best shipping, and all these different tools they give you. And so now that you've compounded your information from YouTube and social media, and then from going to the thrift store, now you're building on it more with eBay and Terapeak, and you're able to get more information. And again, it's not a bad thing. I don't know how many of you have done that, but I've done it every once in a while where I didn't know something about a certain item, and I find that item on eBay and I'll contact the seller and I'm like, hey, just had a question about this. Sometimes you may get somebody that's not so nice.
So you're one of those customers who ask questions about things on eBay?
Yeah. I mean, not very much, but I mean, if you're like stuck, that could be a quick avenue. Yeah. Right. Or you could just list certain things and then you'll get a full amount of information from collectors contacting you saying, hey, by the way, you're wrong about this.
Hey, that's not this. This was this year, this model. Yeah. Sometimes your potential customers can be your best
No, I'm serious. It's true.
Yeah, for sure. And one kind of quick tip, just a practical takeaway with that. One of the things I use for eBay, and I don't even use Terapeak for this. If I'm just like, I used this example several weeks ago when I was talking about looking up cookbooks. And one of the things you can do is type in cookbooks sold. It's going to show you the most recent solds. I like to sort by highest price. And then of course the first few pages are going to be astronomical.
That might even be a better start.
Yeah. So instead of going the highest price, so what I typically do is I'm going to go right to the middle of the road. I'm going to try and find the stuff. If it's cookbooks, the cheaper ones are selling for a couple bucks. The crazy high-end ones are selling for $1,000. What are the ones selling for like $50 to $60? And I'm going to go through 2 or 3 pages and I'm going to say, oh, yep, it's that year of Betty Crocker. I've seen this one like 7 times. All right. Oh, and this other brand right here, I've seen this book a few times on these pages. These must be popular cookbooks that sell for about $50 to $60. Now I know something about cookbooks. And when I go and I'm looking, if I see one of those, I know to pick it up because I've seen several of them and it took me 5 minutes to do that. You might have to review them or write down names, but if you use something like Evernote or notes on your phone, just write down a few names, a few specific details, and then next time you're out, you just pull up let me look at my cookbook section. All right, these are the 10 things I'm looking for because they're good, middle of the road. All right, our next one is taking risks at garage sales. So one of the nice things about garage sales is typically, and it's not always, but typically you're able to get really, really good prices and the ROI can be amazing. But the nice thing is, besides just having good ROI when it's profitable, if you don't know a lot about something, if you can get it at a cheap enough price, you can kind of take that gamble. You can say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and spend $50 and buy this whole box of this stuff that I don't have time to do a lot of research right now. And I want to jump on this. And so you buy, I don't know, a box of jewelry or perfume or I don't know, whatever it is that you pick up. And then you go home and you start going through it. And by the time you research all of the ones you got, oh, this one sells for a lot, this one doesn't, or how did they list this? And oh, I should have, if it's got this on it, then it's worth more. By the time you get through that box, you're probably breaking even or making money, and you've learned a ton. And even if you didn't break even, if you spent $50 on a big couple of totes worth of stuff at a garage sale, and you go through it and you realized, well, I barely broke even or didn't make any money on this, and I ended up losing $10, $15 by the time everything's said and done, $10 or $15 to become way more knowledgeable about a subject.
You'll make hundreds, even thousands from that knowledge.
Then the next time you're somewhere, you go, nope, passing on that one. But this one, I know that's worth something. So it's worth it. You can take the risks. Just look at it like if you're going to college, you're going to a trade school, you're going to spend a ton of money. And a lot of times you spend a bunch of money to sit and really learn stuff that doesn't help you in the job you're trying to go to. I mean, you do learn some stuff, but some of it's not really relevant. Whereas that's a pretty cheap education. If someone say, it's $60 for this class and over the long run, it's going to make you thousands of dollars, sign me up. Easy peasy.
That just happened with my hunting equipment. I bought all this bunch of hunting stuff for $75. I'm already in the profit. I already doubled that money. No, I think maybe tripled that money already. And I didn't think that was going to happen. But then amongst the pieces, there were vintage Vietnam era stuff. I had mentioned this in the last podcast. There were also all these how to call certain kind of games. So coyote and I don't know, duck and whatever. And so I had a full education on hunting because I'm not, I haven't hunted. I grew up in the city. But now I have an idea of what people are looking for, right? I know certain brands, I know certain items that, only can be sold with a certain other item attached to it. You can't sell it individually. You learn a lot of stuff. And so along with that means buying a haul. Now, I'm not saying, hey, I want to learn something, I'm just going to go drop a few hundred or a few thousand on something. That's probably not the wise thing to do. But I will tell you, the greatest knowledge I've gained has been from having a huge haul. And what I mean is, I'll go and I find something, and maybe for the whole thing, they want $1,000. And I know that maybe like 4 or 5 of the items in there, or maybe a quarter of the items, I know I can make that money back. And the other stuff I'm unsure about, but I know it's profitable. I've gained a ton of knowledge, and I've had that haul after haul after haul, whether it was Department 56 back in the day, Harley Davidson, the hunting gear I just talked about, Hot Wheels, Disney collectibles, Halloween collectibles. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on. And so you have the ability to pick up a lot of great items. So for example, I had mentioned this in the last podcast that I'm going to go and pick up a bunch of vintage toys. So stuff I've never picked up before, like slot cars and other stuff from the 70s and 60s, maybe even the 50s. And as I've been sorting through a lot of this stuff, I've gained a lot of knowledge. I know, okay, this is what I'm looking for. And if, for example, trains are really, really tough in the beginning. But right away, once you pick up your first 2 hauls of like model trains, I knew what brands were good. I knew what the tracks were, and I knew kind of how to tell what year certain things were made. And so I hope all of these help you, because learning a different niche is always important, because the market always changes. And right now the market's changing. And so a lot of us are going to have to adapt and learn different, niches, especially if you're full-time, to be able to pick up your sales. And so whether it be going on social media, which I think is a great tool, think about it. That tool is not available 20 years ago.
Yeah, no, it's super.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
What would the groups be? How do you just go like,
there were forums, and I don't know about 20, maybe we're getting close. Yeah, 20 years ago, there were definitely internet forums or chat rooms, and so I mean, it wasn't the
chat rooms.
It wasn't to the level that it is now. Yeah. But I mean, if you were into vintage audio or whatever thing you were into, there was definitely an online source. But again, that's typically for the hobbyists who are willing to search and learn and become part of a community. Now it's a lot easier to just, kind of stock a
Well, the reason I bring that up to close this out is that there's been no greater time to be able to have access to so much knowledge so fast. Information
is abundant. It's just, are we going to act on it?
So get out there, get into social media, go to that thrift store, use eBay and Terapeak, find those garage sales, and maybe pick up a nice haul, and definitely immerse yourself in that inventory so you learn a new niche. And with that being said, make sure to be real,
be relevant,
and be reselling. Peace.